the academy is full of pockets of very clever people doing stuff very well, where you wonder, why on earth are they doing it? I like to quote Donald Hebb, one of my heroes, the great Canadian psychologist, who once said, if it's not worth doing, it's not worth doing well. You think about it, and you think what decimation this would do to academics if we applied it rigorously. There's a lot of people out there doing very well, very, very well, very professionally, things that probably aren't worth doing. And I thought that theology was one of those, but I've come to realize that it does actually have some users. There are some people who avail themselves of the work of the theologians. And who are they? They're the ministers who have to have an answer to, what can I say to the parishioners? And so they're actually quite eager to read the latest theology, give them, and theology of course changes as times change because parishioners have different issues and problems and questions, and so there's always apparently a market among some clergy for new ways of responding to those embarrassing questions that they get from parishioners, and that's fed by the theologians. Now, some of the theologians, of course, go too far. You have people like Bishop Spong and Don Cupid, who are as close to being explicit atheists as you could get, and are derided and reviled as atheists by many Christian leaders, but just as much honored by others for their liberating and refreshing and wonderfully insightful views on the nature of religion. In other words, what I'm saying is that what theology is a compilation of ways of not coming clean about the whole enterprise, or, as you might say, theologians are religion spinmeisters. That, I think, that's what theology is today, and I see no reason to believe it isn't what it's always been. I see that as its raison d'etre. Now, let's consider the canons of good spin. It is not a barefaced lie. You have to be able to say it with a straight face. Very important, it has to relieve skepticism without arousing curiosity. Oh, I get it. Oh, I get it. Oh well, all right. And it should seem profound. Now, you've been introduced to some new terms. Kipple was one, and Granfalloon was the other. Yeah. Well, I want to introduce a term of my own that I coined some years ago, and that's Deepities. Now, I didn't invent the word itself. The teenage daughter of a colleague of mine did. He came in to see me one day and he said, well, last night at supper, around the dinner table, I was holding forth on, I can't remember what the topic was, but I said something that I thought was rather important and profound, and my daughter Alex said, "Ooh, Dad said a deepity." And ever since he told me that story, I thought, oh man, deepities, I like that idea. Yeah, Dad said a deepity. So what's a deepity? I've taken it beyond just the term itself, and I've given it a definition. So a deepity is a proposition that seems to be profound because it's actually logically ill-formed. It has at least two readings and balances precariously between them. On one reading, it's true, but trivial. On the other reading, it's false, but would be earth-shaking if true. And so what happens is, you hear it, and you think, oh, yeah, this seems true. Oh my gosh! Whoa! and then you got yourself a deepity. So I want to help you get on with the term, I want to give you an example of a deepity. Are you ready? This is going to be pretty profound. Everybody's sitting. That's good. Yes. Love is just a word. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Love is just a word. Now let's just walk through it. Here's the first reading. Love is just a word. That's true. It's trivial. It's a word. It begins with an L. It's got 4 letters. It's comparable to cow is just a word. And cheeseburger is just a word. And so forth. For any word you like. So there's the true trivial reading of the sentence. And here's the other one, which is, just take those quotation marks off. Love is just a word. Oh, really? Oh, my. First of all, it's false. I mean, whatever love is, it isn't a word. It may be an interpersonal relationship. It may be an emotion. It may be the most wonderful phenomenon in human psychology. Or it may be an illusion. But it isn't a word. It is not a word. You can't find love in the dictionary. Right? That's almost a deepity. Now, or maybe that would be a good country western song, you know?